Let's get some analysis with Professor Simon Jackman from the University of Sydney. Thanks for your time, as always. I had the former consul to Texas, Peter McGorran, a former Howard government minister, on about half an hour ago. He believes that these results in the midterms suggest the Republicans cannot win back the White House with Donald Trump. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I do. So does Mick Mulvaney, by the way. It's not a controversial opinion, Kieran. Look at the track record. In 2016, Trump narrowly wins in the Electoral College but loses the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by about 3 million votes. In 2020, Donald Trump loses the popular vote and the Electoral College vote to Biden, this time losing the popular vote by about 7 million votes. Trump's presence in the White House spurs the American electorate to record turnout in the 2018 midterms, handing Democrats a win there. Trump doing a dummy spit after the 2020 election saw Georgia's 2 Senate seats go to Democrats in 2021 January runoff elections. And we've just had this latest episode where historical fundamental predictors of the election would suggest that Republicans would indeed have a red wave. But the presence of Trump-like candidates and the specter of Trump around American politics still saw Republicans dramatically underperform, to the point where we may not know if they even get a majority in the House of Representatives for a couple of weeks now. So I'm in on that assessment.
Okay, but if you said dramatically underperform, there's one glaring exception. I'm sure there are a few, but there's one glaring exception, and that is DeSantis in Florida. Extraordinary performance. So how do they navigate this diabolical sort of scenario now, where you've got a former president, a massive drag, but then you've got this looming candidate who could really be successful, but he's got to navigate the Trump impact.
Yeah, exactly. So DeSantis is clearly the heir apparent. I think that's been clear since that first batch of numbers we saw together last Wednesday, winning Florida 60-40. And now we get to one of the structural issues about American parties, and that is, since the early 70s, in an effort to get rid of the smoke-filled room where the party elders would conspire and put candidates in front of the electorate, we've had the primary system in the United States. And it's that primary system that gave us Donald Trump, and I suspect it'll be that same primary system that leaves the Republicans, frankly, saddled with Donald Trump. He is on the margin, Kieran. There's 3 or 4 last elections that I detailed just previously reveal. He is now on the margin a net liability for Republicans seeking national power, as opposed to being a net asset. For every vote he mobilizes on their side of politics, he's mobilizing 1.1 or 1.15 on the other side. And that is just the brutal arithmetic. DeSantis proves us another way forward, but DeSantis has to deal with the fact that the open primary system means that this amazing loyalty that a mass movement essentially has, the MAGA movement has, and are invested in Donald Trump as its leader. How do you get around that if you're Ron DeSantis, if you're Mitch McConnell, who has got to be kicking himself now because for the second election in a row, the presence of Donald Trump is denying him returning to the position where he'd really like to be, and that is Majority Leader of the United States Senate, and with all the power that confers for judicial nominations, executive appointments, and many other things in the American political system.
And this with a president who is far from convincing at the age of 79 and sort of ailing in the job quite clearly. He's no sort of no Clinton or Obama. He's got some real challenges there. So but yet the Democrats have this strong performance. Would they take the risk heading into the next cycle with the incumbent? I guess you don't have much of a choice, because the president will choose. They don't tap him on the shoulder, do they? It's his choice.
No. And it is Biden's. And Kieran, we were speculating whether the midterms would see the launch of Donald Trump's bid for the presidency in 2024. Instead, what we got, it's the start of Joe Biden. He is all in, spring in the old man's step. And nothing like rocking up to international fora with a nice domestic political win under your belt. There's a spring in the step there. And indeed, particularly if the other scenario plays out, and this is what I'll call the Mulvaney, Maguire and Jackman scenario, if you will. Yeah. If it's Biden v. Trump again, if it's a rematch, then Biden wins. And absent some sort of further economic calamity befalling the United States. But if that election were to happen 3 months, 6 months from now it's 24 months away, Biden beats Trump. Professor Simon Jackman from the Sydney University, thanks for your insights. As always, thank you. Thanks, Kieran.